have a presence on social media. Talk about what you love. Talk about what you love, because I feel the only way that you can be able to like translate your passion into something tangible that can eventually even bring you some income is by talking about it. I was on social media, but I really never understood how social media worked. I was just there,
I think
just,
a lot of us did not really understand.
Yeah, I didn't understand what social media worked.
Yeah.
I did not understand. I did not know that social media was going to be something so big. For me, it was just, pictures, just posting pictures, having fun. Oh, school is nice, scam.
Some people think it's a scam.
Oh, no. School is not a scam. Like, I mean, forget about everything that people are saying on social media, blah, 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 blah. School is not a scam. One thing that I had to battle with was sexual harassment. And it was very difficult, having to go through that. It was very difficult. And also because I had heard about them. I mean, when the whole Me Too movement began, I mean, I did not necessarily relate to it, but then I felt for the women. I felt for the women, that were in the movement and all. And then when I had to go through something like that, it was honestly, I would say till today, is one of the most traumatizing things that I've had to deal with. If you find yourself in an environment where you're being sexually harassed, first of all, document everything, because if you ever plan to take any legal action, you need to make sure that you have everything documented that you're going to present. Document everything, the inappropriate messages, the glances. Well, you cannot film them, but try as much as possible to document everything that happens.
Every woman has a story, and here her voice is where we share them. Stories of resilience, ambition, and the journey to success. My name is Lorraine Shu, and I'm your host for this show. Today, we have an amazing guest with us. She's a communications professional and content creator. And today, she's going to be sharing her journey with us. If this is something which is going to be of interest to you, please stay tuned. Welcome back. So today we have an amazing person with us here. If you are a young professional, or if you're interested in the field of communications, or in any field at all, you're a young graduate who just got out of school and you don't know what to do with yourself, this podcast is for you. This show is definitely for you. Please grab your popcorn, anything to keep you entertained. You have to be here, and I'm going to be giving her the opportunity to officially introduce herself. Hi. Okay, so please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Mady, but people commonly call me Mady. I wear a coat of many colors. I am a communications assistant and an administrative assistant as well. And part-time, I do create content on TikTok and Instagram. I recently started content creation. It's been great so far, and I look forward to it even getting bigger.
Okay, so it's really amazing to have you on the show. So you're a communications person, and then you're also into content creation and on TikTok for that matter. So first of all, anybody who is on TikTok, most people don't consider them serious, or maybe people consider that they are selling something. So as someone who is into communications, how did you find yourself on TikTok?
Okay, how did I find myself on TikTok? I think, okay, I first downloaded the app that was in 2020. Remember, like during the lockdown, it was very popular, of course, and it was very popular because of the dances. So then I go on TikTok without any particular reason, right? I mean, to me, it was just a fun app. And then when I got on the app, I was also doing the dances, but then I think there was a time when there was this whole rumor that was going on about how TikTok is using people's data to spy on them, and it really made me freak out. So I I had to uninstall the app. I wasn't using it anymore. Yeah, uninstall the app because really it really freaked me out. I uninstalled the app. I wasn't using it anymore until recently again. I mean, recently I was just drawn back to the app in a way that I cannot really explain. And once I got back on the app, like I was observing, and one thing that I noticed is that TikTok is quite different from Instagram. Different how? Because TikTok is more fun. It is real, it is authentic. I feel like on Instagram everything is so, like it's like everything is so structured, like everything is so aesthetic, everything is like it's looking so perfect. You see, like IG is just so perfect. So, and honestly, um I just felt like, nah, I needed a change. Let me discover TikTok. Let me go back to TikTok. Let me see what it's all about. So yeah, I mean, I went back. I was observing at first. I was just observing, before thinking of what type of content or what type of niche I want to create. But then I just told myself that, well, I'm not going to box myself by trying to look for a niche. I'll just do whatever it is that I can do. If I want to make vlogs, I'll make vlogs. If I want to make fashion content, I'll make fashion content. If I want to do cooking videos, I'll do cooking videos. In fact, I'm just going to make any type of content. I don't want to box myself by trying to find a niche. But one of the things that I have always wanted to share across my social media platform is my love for fashion, because that's something that I really like. I started creating fashion content in 2023 on my Instagram, but then life happened and I had to take a step back. But this time around, I told myself that going back on TikTok, this is the side of me that I want to show to people. So I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm going to test the waters. Let's see how it works on TikTok. And then eventually I would see, maybe how I can expand that to my other platforms as well.
Okay, so let's take it back to the journey to starting content creation. Before starting content creation, and you are a communications professional,
Yeah.
so I therefore think that you probably have gone through some kind of training, and you've probably had some experience with that. So let's take it back to where it all began.
Yeah.
Before the whole content creation, what did you study back in school, and how has been your journey throughout till where you got to this point where you consider that, okay, I want to get into content creation?
Okay. All right. So first I always knew that I was going to do communication. Well, that's because as a child already, I loved the field of journalism. Initially when I finished school, when I had my advanced level and I was going into the university, I was actually going with the goal of studying journalism. But then I wrote this concours is to get into STIC. It's a journalism training school which is very popular. I wrote the concours several times and I didn't make it. And I actually thought that from that moment I was like, okay, well, since it didn't work, I think I'm just going to drift. I'll leave journalism and I'll just go and study communication. So that's how after not succeeding in the concours, I started first at the University of Douala. I was there for 1 year, but I mean, you know how the system works there. It didn't work out for me anyway. It didn't work out for me, so I had to leave. I went to a professional school. I had my BTS, because again, I should precise. I studied communication in French, not in English. I had my BTS. I had my BTS en communication des entreprises, and then after that, I went ahead and I had my licence professionnelle. So whilst I was studying for my bachelor's degree, I had an internship. That was my first internship in a marketing agency. And that's where I really had like the chance to be able to transition to be able to transition from knowledge into practice. And that particular experience was it was very pivotal, because then at the time I was there as a junior communications assistant. Yeah, so I they they put me on a lot of projects. they put me on a lot of projects, so it really helped me to be able to gain experience. It helped me to be able to gain experience. But the problem with that particular experience was that it wasn't remunerated, and that was a problem for me. It wasn't remunerated, and then I had just finished school. I needed to support myself. I needed to do something, and I just didn't want to go like and continue masters, because I did not just want to go and do masters without a purpose. I didn't want to go and do like a masters without a purpose. I was like, no, I first of all I want to work first before I go and do my masters. I want to work first. So then that's how I had to leave the field of communication, because the job opportunity that I had, it had nothing to do with communications directly, but nevertheless, I was still in contact with people, right? So I started working as a receptionist. I was there for 1 year. It was a great experience. It was a very beautiful one, but then I felt like I was not in my place. I wasn't in my place. I wasn't at the right place. Like, that's as much as the money was coming in and all. I was like, nah. I went to school. I studied communication, and I really would like to have a career in communication. So, I mean, despite the fact that I came here for the money, I don't think that I'm going to keep up with this. So then I left now, and I went to pursue my masters. Initially, I wanted to do a masters in public relations, but then I wanted to do a masters in public relation, but then I changed, and I decided to do a master's in international relation, because I researched about the field. It was very interesting. And then I also had to find out about the career prospects. I'd find out about the career prospects, because my aim was, once I get my master's, I want to career in the non-profit sector. I want to career in the non-profit sector. I searched for opportunities here and there, but I didn't get it. I didn't get those opportunities. So I had another opportunity again to work in the hospitality industry as a receptionist. I took it, but I still maintained that social media presence, because I've been on social media since 2017. But then I was on social media, but I really never understood how social media worked. I was just
Yeah.
there,
I think a lot of us did not really understand.
yeah, I didn't understand what social media worked.
Yeah.
I did not know that social media was going to be something so big. For me, it was just, pictures, just posting pictures, having fun,
course.
Yeah, I just said it was just all about having fun. But I think it's around 2020, after the COVID, that I really understood the impact of social media and how it can actually change lives. So then I asked myself, but, and at the time, there were a lot of, young people that were coming, a lot of young people that I was discovering on social media. They were either doing skits. You had some people that you had the YouTubers, like the OGs who were in YouTube. They were coming now to these other small platforms as well, to be able to position themselves. So then I told myself that, oh, but this can be very interesting. And I mean, if others are cashing out from this, why can I not also try? Why can I not try? Like, that's actually what I told myself. I was like, okay, well, let's see, right? Let's see. So I was still, just posting pictures. And I think it's just really around 2023 that I told myself that, okay, now this social media, I'm going to take it very seriously. Because for me now, it's just no longer a platform where I'm going to go to, like, just post pictures and show myself. No, I actually want to use it. I want to use it to be able to to create something impactful, something that I can, maybe in the next 5, 6, 7 years, and tell myself that, oh, listen, I started my social media journey. I started my social media journey. I was new to it. I knew nothing. I was just going into something, not knowing what to expect. But then this is what I got from it. So yeah, so exactly, that's actually how, I I had that training. That's how I had that training, because I maintained my social media presence, even despite the fact that, I was moving
Yeah.
from one job to another. Yeah.
Okay. So, looking at your journey as a young professional, getting out of school, and not really having like a remunerated opportunity
Yeah.
in your field of study,
Yeah.
like if you wanted to really stay as a communications person, you probably had to do a volunteer or an internship for a
Yeah,
very
a
long
long
time,
time.
you know,
Yeah,
without pay
without pay.
before eventually being trusted to do a job.
Job. Yeah.
So I want to bring it up to date. So what advice will you give a young professional, you know, who is just getting out of school now, because you've actually got to realize that okay, social media is really something that you can leverage on,
On.
right?
Yeah.
So what will your advice to any young professional in this age, or how do you think young professionals should position themselves to stay in their field of study from school, or postgraduates? How
Yeah.
can postgraduates
Graduate
leverage their knowledge, like whatever they learn from
from
school? How can they
school.
leverage it and stay on it as professionals and grow in it
Exactly.
in this
Okay.
age?
Okay, so as a for young graduates who are just completing school, and if you really want to stay in your field of study, so first of all, I will advise them first is to volunteer. Yeah, is to volunteer. I know that for some people they just don't like working and not having to receive any pay, but volunteering is very good. Why? Because volunteering is going to help you not only first of all to be able to acquire experience, but you're also going to be able you finally find yourself in a position whereby you're able to you're able to practice whatever it is that you were taught in school. And maybe sometimes when you even go on the field, you're going to realize that the way things are done on the field, it is not exactly the way it was taught in school. Because I let me take my example. When I did my first internship, which was in 2016, yeah, in a marketing agency. There were certain things that were taught school, like we're taught how to draft a communication plan. So when I got to the firm, I was told that okay, but this is what you were taught in school, but here this is not how you do it. You do it differently. So this is why I say that volunteering it's very very important. It's very very pivotal, for any young professional that is looking to stay into their field, because then you start with volunteering, and eventually when you start volunteering, you start to have that exposure. You start to have that exposure, and with the exposure, opportunities are going to come along, and eventually you're going to have an opportunity that is in your field. Another thing that I will also advise young graduates to do is that you also need to position yourself. You need to position yourself strategically. And you need to position yourself strategically. It means that have a presence on social media. Talk about what you love. Talk about what you love, because I feel the only way that you can be able to translate your passion into something tangible that can eventually even bring you some income is by talking about it. Go online, talk about what it is that what it is that you know how to do, because you'd be surprised at how people are even going to welcome that knowledge that you're going to share. So position yourself strategically, and also network. It is very important. Network, like learn how to network, right? Learn how to network whilst you're in school. Even when you find yourself with your friends, with your family, you need to network. It is very very important. And also participate in extracurricular activities whilst in school, because those extracurricular activities in school are transferable skills that you eventually bring in when you're transitioning from school into the corporate world. It is very important to participate, because I am saying all these things, but these are not things that I
Yeah.
did. And I wish I knew all these things
I
back then.
know.
Yeah, I wish I knew all these things back then, because it had to take me growing up in order for me
Yeah.
to realize all of these things that I am now giving it out here for free, right? Yes. So participate in extracurricular activities, network, volunteer, position yourself strategically.
Okay, so it took you this long, to learn all of these lessons that you're giving out to these young professionals now. So I want to first of all ask you an opposite question. First of all,
Yeah.
can you share with us like one project that you worked on that was really exciting, something that you really loved, it made you like, your eyes to be like to get lit, like I'm really enjoying this communications job. And what are some of the challenges that you faced in your career so far up until this point?
Okay. So I'm first of all going to start with the most exciting project that I worked on. So the most exciting project that I worked on that I really loved, I think that was in 2023. I had the opportunity to work with an NGO that was based in Benin. So they were launching a project. So they had done research about surgical and obstetrical care in 50 countries in Africa. So the aim of the whole project was that we wanted to inform people. We wanted to inform people about the study, the research that had been done, so that we could eventually be able to bring in many stakeholders on board that were going to finance it. Because the whole aim actually was, first of all, was to train more people in obstetric and surgical care, but also to train more people in obstetric and surgical care, to equip hospitals with necessary equipment needed for obstetric and surgical care. And yeah, so that's just basically what the whole project was all about. And the person I was working with on this project, like, he was a doctor with more than 20 years of experience. And at the time, he was a representative of the WHO in Benin. So I mean, just talking about healthcare, like the healthcare deficiencies and all of that he had noticed when he was doing his study. Like, he was so passionate about it. And because he was passionate, because I was also working on the project, like, I had to go do my research. That's actually how I also realized a lot of the deficiencies that we have in Africa in terms of surgical and obstetric care, in terms of surgical and obstetric care. And to me, it was so interesting, so, like, it was so interesting, it was so passionate. Just even when I was preparing my post, like, I was preparing my post that I was going to post on our social media, communicating about the project on our social media platforms, reaching out to people, discussing with people, meeting people every day, and just talking to them. It was so exciting. I think that was one of the most exciting projects that I worked on. But unfortunately, the project was cut short because we were expecting funding from certain of our stakeholders, but unfortunately, the funding didn't come. But nevertheless, they still are, pushing for that. And so some of the challenges that I encounter in my professional journey, and one thing that I had to battle with was sexual harassment. And yeah, it was very difficult, having to go through that. It was very difficult. And also because I had heard about them. I mean, when the whole Me Too movement began, I I mean, I did not necessarily relate to it, but then I felt for the women. I felt
Yeah.
for the women, that were in the movement and all. And then when I had to go through something like that, it was honestly, I would say till today, is one of the most traumatizing things that I've had to deal with. It's one of the most traumatizing things, because then again, I think to myself, all those moments that I found myself in that situation, I'm like, I mean, anything could have happened to me.
Yeah.
Anything could have happened to me. But then I I'm thankful. I am thankful because at the end of the day, God has seen me through. He has seen me through it. And also, when I started going through it at my workplace, I was able to open up. I was able to open up to my mom. My mom was the person I was able to open up to. And even she, when I told her, she was really devastated. She was devastated, and she told me, if that's how that work is going to make, then just
Yeah.
leave it. I don't care. Leave it. Because, yeah, I mean, even if they are paying you well, there's just no way you're going to stay in an environment where you're sexually harassed,
Yeah.
because you're not yourself again. Like, I couldn't sit in the office anymore. Like, just sitting at the office and thinking that someone is going to come and grab me, or is going to come and touch me inappropriately. I was always leaving. I was always in so much paranoia. I was like, nah, doesn't matter. No matter how much they are giving me in this place, I'm going to leave. And yeah, so those are one of the things that I've dealt with. And another thing that I've one of the challenges also that I've read that I've one of the things that I've struggled with in my professional journey also is speaking up. Yes, it's one thing that I've really, really struggled with. And also because I did not speak up, most often I was taken for granted because I never spoke up. Yeah, but I never spoke up, be it at meetings, be it at meetings or whatsoever. I will not participate, but then when my superior will come, I'm like, oh Mady, this, I want you to work on this, please make sure that you deliver it to me by so and so so day. And he sees my work and he's like, but Mady, you're actually really good, but why don't you ever speak up? I'm like, well, I don't speak up just because sometimes I don't know what to say. I basically have nothing to say. He was like, oh no, but you should speak up because I see your work, I see what you deliver. You are really good, but you need to speak up. And that is very true. Because if you do not speak up, the world is not going to see you. There is nothing like keeping quiet or, celebrating your wins silently. But no, 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 no. The world will not see you if you don't speak up.
Yeah.
You need to speak up. Yeah, so those are just a few of the challenges that I've had to go through in my professional journey.
So to follow up on that, why do you think you just don't speak up? Is it because you're shy, or are you not confident of the things you want to say? Like, what do you think is really the root cause, and have you tackled it? Have you dealt with it?
Okay, I think the root cause of me not being able to speak up is confidence, because as a child and even as an adult and even till this day, I still struggle with self-confidence. There are times when I just don't think of myself as enough. And also most often, because also I am a perfectionist, I'm also afraid to speak up sometimes because I am afraid to say the wrong thing. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I get laughed at? What if like, it's just always this what if that keeps coming to my mind. Like whenever I want to
Yeah.
speak, it's like this what if. Oh, but what if you speak and that you say the wrong thing? Because I always want to do things, I love structure. I love when everything is, well done. Yeah, I think there's also that part of, me being perfectionist. I want that when I speak up, it has to be clean. It has to be, So yeah, there is that part. There is also the fact that, I'm still struggling with, self-confidence. But I try as much as possible. I think right now I'm really trying to like
Yeah.
tackle that. I'm trying to tackle that because I'm actually thinking of taking a few courses. Hopefully
Yeah.
this year, next year. I don't know when. In public speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, public speaking, because this is also very important as a communication professional. You need to know public speaking. Public
Yeah.
speaking, is very very, is very important. Mm.
And also, following up on that again, how do you think, what would be your advice to young professionals that are being sexually harassed at the workplace? Maybe you have a boss who is, throwing some glances at you, making you feel uncomfortable and sending you inappropriate messages, all of that, the whole package.
Yeah.
How do you maneuver this whole thing so that it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable? Do you just up and leave, or do you speak up? Sometimes even if you have to speak up, who you speak up
Who
to
you
is
speak up
maybe it's the
to
boss.
is the boss,
So what do
exactly.
you do in that situation?
Okay, if you find yourself in an environment where you're being sexually harassed, first of all, document everything, because if
Mm,
you ever plan to take any legal action, you need to make sure that you have everything documented that you're going to present. Document everything, the inappropriate messages, the glances. Well, you cannot film them, but try as much as possible to document everything that happens. States everything on this day, this happened with my, like, write it down, have a journal where you document everything, or even have your phone, document everything in your phone. So if you ever think of taking any legal action, it's going to help you. Another thing also is speak up. Speak up. I don't know, maybe your family members, your sister,
yeah.
any person that you are close to,
I was about to
speak
say
up.
speak up to who, because
Yes,
if it's
no,
the boss of a company,
not
who you speak
who
up
you
to?
speak up to, exactly, because you are, yeah, if it's the boss of the company that is harassing you, you're probably not going to trust your colleagues enough to speak
Yeah,
up to them. So
yeah,
speak up to one of your speak about it to one of your family members. Talk about it. And because talking about is actually going to help relieve you of
yeah,
it, right? And then if it's really if it is really that bad, I mean, if you think like you're no longer able to take it, then
Yeah,
just
you
leave.
just have to leave.
Yeah, just leave,
Yeah,
because your mental health and your wellness in general, it's more important than any amount of money that they might give you.
that's true.
Just leave.
Yeah,
Leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, who are some women that have inspired you in your journey so far up to this level?
Okay, so some women who have inspired me in my journey so far. First is my mom. My mom is one of the people who has inspired me, because my mom has been working for more than 20 years now, and just seeing how she carries herself, she's very tough, she's very tough. She's a very strict person and very rigorous when it comes to work, and that's just one of the things that I admire. And career wise, she has really done well for herself. So she's one of the people that I look up to. And also, there is you. I think I have told you that several times, because one of the things that I love about you is how you're very intentional about everything that you do. You're very passionate, you're very driven, and that's one thing that I really, really love, and I really admire that.
Thank
And
you.
another person too is my friend Sedinam in Ghana. She's a friend, but also an elder sister, and she's one of the people that I really, really admire so much. I admire her so much. I just love her. I love her personality. I love how she carries herself. She's one of my inspirations.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Okay, so to close this amazing conversation that we've just had, I'm very sure that every young professional watching has really learned a lot about, the job market,
Yeah.
the hurdles, the stress that comes with it, and the successes that you can get if you
Yes.
follow some amazing steps. So I just want to find out from you, how do you think the job market, or let's say, yeah, how will the job market evolve in, let's say, in 10 years to come? How do you think young professionals are going to be positioning themselves for opportunities with all the lessons that you've learned so far? You are still in
Yeah. In
progress.
progress.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
still, you're a work in progress, right? But so far, I can say you are an intermediary. You're at the intermediary
Intermediate level.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think it's going to look like in the future?
Oh, I think the job market is going to be very tough in the next 10 years, because, yeah, oh, yeah, the job market is going to be very tough. It's going to be very competitive. So, what you need to do as a person, first of all, you need to upskill and make yourself marketable and competitive, because, see, no, like I mean, like, yeah, it's going to be very tough. And now you already have AI that is coming in. You have AI that
Yeah.
is coming in. I don't know, I mean, I don't know exactly how Cameroon intends to use AI maybe in the next 10 years, but I believe that if this is something that is already working for many firms abroad, because
Yeah.
you're probably reading the articles and seeing online, like
Yeah.
how many layoffs are happening in countries like the US and Canada and all over the world. AI is coming. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is not coming. AI is already there, and AI
Yeah.
is here to
To
stay,
stay.
because there are certain tasks, there are certain mini tasks that AI would AI is going to handle. So people who used to do those will no longer be needed in those positions to do that. So yes, you need to make yourself marketable. You need to
Yeah.
upskill. You need to learn. In fact, go the extreme. Branding,
Yeah.
not packaging. No, I'm not talking about packaging, because packaging is fake.
It's fake.
Yes, packaging is fake.
Yeah.
Branding, personal branding, brand yourself. Personal branding, it is very important though. Put yourself out there. Brand yourself, because again, like I said, the job market is going to be, it is already competitive, sir. In
Yeah.
fact,
Very
it is
competitive.
already competitive. So yes, you need to brand yourself, make yourself marketable, make yourself competitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my final question to you is, with everything that you've learned, so far in your journey, you are, at the next level now. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what are some of the steps that you're going to take to get yourself to where you want to be?
Oh,
speak it into existence.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm one of the people who believes of speaking things into existence.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so where do I find myself in the next 5 years? Okay, career wise, in the next 5 years, I see myself in a managerial position. Yeah, I see myself in a managerial position, specifically in my field of communications. Yeah, that's why I see myself in the next 5 years. And what I'm going to be doing in order to be able to manifest my future self is I am going to I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. And again, I'm one of those people who like I'm always ready to learn because I believe that I am one of the people who believe that you never stop learning. As you keep evolving, then you keep learning things every day. So yes, I will take courses, I will take certifications, I will network, I will speak up, I will put myself out there, just to make sure that, like in the next 5 years, I find myself exactly where I am visualizing. I am visualizing myself.
What do you have to say to people who say school is a scam?
Oh, school is not a scam.
Some people think it's a scam.
Oh no, no, no. School is not a scam. Like, I mean, forget about everything that people are saying on social media, blah 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 blah. School is not a scam. I feel like every knowledge, right, that you gain, every knowledge that you gain, eventually it's going to be relevant and it's going
Yeah,
to be useful.
definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be relevant, it's going to be useful. I take an example of myself, right? Um I studied communication and international relation, right? Whilst I was completing my education, I always told myself that okay, like these degrees that I'm getting, they are going to help me, right, to be exactly to find myself where I want to be, professionally. And then even though I am not here yet, I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping because I know that it is definitely going to be useful.
Yeah,
Yeah, those degrees
definitely.
that I earn is definitely going to be useful. So school is not a scam. I believe every knowledge that you acquire, every knowledge that you gain, it's relevant. Yeah, so school is not a scam. Please go to school, I beg. Go to school. Then
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you so much, sis. We had an amazing conversation. Dear young professionals, I hope you've learned something new today. You have to network, you have to upskill, you have to brand yourself, be on social media strategically. Don't just go there dancing and just posting
posting
pictures.
pictures.
The game has changed. Being on social media now should make you money because all of these platforms, Facebook, TikTok, they are making money from us. We too should be able to make
Make
money
money
from
from
them.
them.
And you all have experienced and seen how people got on social media and they were just, even people who do like comedy or whatever, they end up monetizing. So how about you who is smart, you've gone to school and all of that? If you don't know what to do with your education, all of those things they taught you in school, come and talk about it online, and you never know how things are going to end up. So thank you so much for joining us on today's show, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.